Is the sports story.
We live in this world where either you're a villain or you're a superhero.
Way outside, delivers! A dazzling display.
The back-to-back NBA Finals MVP, Kevin Durant.
Kevin Durant's at that place where the all-time greats get the crossroads of physical and mental superiority.
Durant goes down holding his leg. Right away, he knew it.
He's a good teammate, a good person. It's not fair.
How devastating is this injury to Durant's career?
Y'all know who I am. I'm Kevin Durant.
This just in to SportsCenter, according to Adrian Wojnarowski and Ramona, Shelburne. Free agent stars Kevin Durant and Kawhi Leonard have been discussing scenarios that could include a future with them playing together. Two clear possibilities, according to Woj and Ramona, for them to sign with the same franchise, the Clippers and the Knicks. Yo, Adrian, as he joins us now, what are we to read into this, and what sort of details and flavor can you offer?
Well, listen, when you have great players like this out in the marketplace, no matter how close they might be, they're going to interact about the different scenarios that are available to them. And Kevin Durant and Kawhi Leonard have been doing that, Ramona and I have been told. And, you know, the two teams that they have really significantly in common right now on their free agent list are the Clippers and the Knicks. Both teams, you know, have the ability to go sign two free agents. The Nets can do that too. A more likely scenario for Durant, if he went to Brooklyn, would be with a point guard, Kyrie Irving. But it is a conversation that's been ongoing, and it just, you know, speaks to how wild this free agency period is going to be, because there are so many big market teams with max salary spots. There are so many big stars available, and it creates opportunities for players to talk about how they might fit together.
Right, talking about creating their own super team effectively. How close are they, and how close are their goals aligned?
It's unclear to me how close of a relationship they have. I know there's great mutual respect. These are two, you know, you could make the case that it might be the two best players in the league right now. Certainly Durant is going to miss either all of next season or very much most of next season with the Achilles injury. But it makes sense, and certainly you could imagine in L.A., for example, with the Clippers, just think of the star power in Staples Center. Anthony Davis, LeBron James on one end of the building, Kevin Durant and Kawhi Leonard on the other, and certainly in New York with the Knicks, too. It would obviously instantly revive that organization. But I think especially here's the thing with both of these players, though. I think they're both fiercely independent guys. I think they're going to make a decision based on what they want. I think Kawhi Leonard, they both won championships. They've both been final MVPs. They don't have to ring chase here. They can go and live and have an organization built around them. So, again, this is one scenario in place. There are a lot of scenarios in this free agency. I wouldn't read too much into it that, hey, this is inevitable. It's not. But if you're Kawhi Leonard and you're Kevin Durant, of course you're having these conversations. Well,
and you said that neither of them has anything to prove, but is there a sense that neither of them wants to be the guy alone, that perhaps going into this with somebody else takes the pressure off?
Well, I think players of that caliber understand you can't win without other great players. And I think, you know, Kawhi Leonard did it a little differently. Now, he was on a great San Antonio team, but certainly some of their stars were a little more on the back end of their career when they beat Miami, and then in Toronto, a very talented team, but he was the guy. And we know what Kevin Durant has been a part of in Golden State. It's been a unique setup, a unique group of talent, unlike we've ever seen in the league. You know, guys at different parts of their career, based on what they've experienced, they want different things, and I think there are a lot of decisions for both of them to make. There are a lot of great choices out there, and this is where it gets difficult for them to try to parse it all out and say, what makes the most sense for me? Could it be with him? Evocative of the big three in Miami and all those talks that went on many moons ago, it seems like. It started all of this. That's right. It's wild, and you are all over it, Woj. Stay tuned, as they say in show business. Thanks, Hannah.
We have 4 All-NBA players from last season who could be heading to new squads in Kevin Durant, Kawhi Leonard, Kyrie Irving, and Kemba Walker. There's only been one time in NBA history where 3 players that received All-NBA honors didn't play for the same team the following season. Glenn Rice, as well as Hall of Famers Scottie Pippen and Mitch Richmond, were all traded during the lockout-shortened 1998-1999 season. NBA front office insider Bobby Marks is with us. Art, you spent 2 decades in the Nets front office. This franchise now has a chance to land not 1 but 2 superstars in Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. How should Brooklyn approach these meetings?
Well, I think they're both different here. Now, we'll start with Kevin Durant. Here's a player that will likely be out for most of the 2019-20 season. Your pitch to Durant is about 2020 as far as how the roster is going to shape out, if it is a player like Kyrie Irving that is going to join, and how this team can be built out. Remember, Durant will be there for another 3 years, and as far as how they can sustain it, remember, they've got a nice young core with Caris LeVert, Spencer Dinwiddie, Jared Allen. They've got some future draft picks down the road, and they've got the flexibility there. And the other thing is, too, is that they've got a wild card. They've got Dr. Martin O'Malley, who is the Nets team doctor, who did the Achilles on Kevin Durant here. And so there is that familiarity there. And I think with Kyrie, it's a little bit of both. It's about now, 2019, and also the future. And if I'm Kyrie and I'm sitting there with the Nets, it's what is the roster going to look like if Kevin Durant doesn't come here? What is the plan B with the $35 million in cap space? Is it a player like Tobias Harris? Is it a player like Marcus Morris? Is it a player like Nikola Mirotic? Because, of course, there's no guarantee that Kevin is coming here. So I think there's a little bit of a give and take for both sides. But for Kyrie, it's about now and then what that roster is going to look like in the future also.
Let's go to the Warriors, who are hoping to keep Kevin Durant and Klay Thompson, neither of whom would be available at the start of next season with their injuries and their injury recovery. If they were able to keep both, that's $380 million tied up in luxury salary and luxury tax for next season. So what would that roster look like at the start of next year?
Well, the roster would look like what we saw in the Game 6 loss to Toronto without Klay Thompson and Kevin Durant. It's similar to Game 3 when Klay and Kevin didn't play also. And I think when you look at the roster right now, besides Steph Curry and Andre Iguodala and Draymond Green, it's minimum players here. And here are some of the questions that they have. It's already a $123 million salary without Kevin Durant, and that includes Klay Thompson. You're $14 million over the salary cap. As you said, there's a $220 million difference with Kevin Durant on the roster next year and without. And then what do you have left to build out? You've got the $5.7 million tax exception. You have the $1.6 million minimum to exceed the cap. And then you have your own players, like a player like Kevon Looney that we could put in right now. You have the Bird exception. You can exceed the cap, so maybe bringing him back on a $5 to $7 million salary. You have your own free agents, Jordan Bell, Quinn Cook. You can exceed the cap to bring both those players back. But you're looking at really bargain shopping. We can talk about players like Trevor Ariza, Wayne Ellington, Jamal Crawford, but if Durant leaves, it doesn't automatically open up $32 million or $38 million of new money here.
Interesting. And I don't think that's the team that the Warriors want to start their new arena with. We'll see what happens. It should be good. NBA free agency officially starts tomorrow, 6 p.m. Eastern. Bobby Marks, thank you.
You're welcome.
Hey, everybody. Welcome into our NBA TV studios. It's game time. I'm Kristen Ledlow alongside 3D, Dennis Scott. Can you feel it?
Yes, I do.
Do you know what it is?
Yes.
What is it?
Oh, the fever.
Yeah.
Yeah, that fever. Ooh. It comes every time this year.
We've got it. It's time for Free Agent Fever presented by AT&T. ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski is reporting Kevin Durant's decision is down to 4. He'll engage the Nets, Clippers, Knicks, and Warriors in discussions upon the opening of free agency on Sunday. And the decision-making process could reportedly extend well into next week. DZ? Where will he go, and where should he?
I think he should stay in Golden State, and we saw how things have unfolded here throughout the finals and so forth. KD and Rich Kleinman, his business partner, understand that you want to take the meeting with the Knicks, you want to take the meeting with the Nets, you want to get New York fans all riled up. But KD, why don't you just nip it in the bud and make all of our lives easy and make all of our fevers go away faster by just saying, you know what? I understand the Warriors, what we've gone through the last years. I'm a champion with you guys. I'm a finals MVP. I understand my injury. I'm getting a little bit older. Let's sign in 5 years. Rumors is you're going to give Klay his money. We know he can't play for a year. Weather the storm with Draymond and Steph and get the best bench you can. And I'll see you guys in a year, and let's get back together and try to win more championships.
So you think he should sign a 5-year deal then? Because you know that the Warriors can offer him more money and an extended contract, unlike the other 3 teams that he's considering.
That's my point, Krista. We've talked about it throughout the finals. There's only been one guy to come back from that injury to come back and be all-star, first-team All-NBA. Get 30 points a night. That was Dominique Wilkins, who averaged 28 points a game at 32 years old when his injury, came back to average 31. The only person who had more points was Michael Jordan. So we know the style of play is different. We know Kevin Durant's 7 foot and has a flamethrower. But we are getting a little older, and we are human beings. So with that being said, what you've shown the Golden State Warriors and the goodwill they've shown you back, sign the 5 years, take the whole year off, come back, take your time. No need to rush it. And then say, all right, Steph, you're still here. Klay gets his money. Hopefully Klay comes back from his knee injury 100%. And now you retool this team. You get some more depth on your bench. And now you try to win some more championships.
Well, the free agent fever continues with Kawhi Leonard, the finals MVP and the top free agent, according to Bleacher Report. He'll be taking meetings with both the Lakers and Clippers before talking with the Raptors. ESPN's Stephen A. Smith is reporting that Kawhi is seriously considering the Lakers. Stephen A. also reported that Kawhi requested for his meeting with the Lakers to be with Magic Johnson and Jeanie Buss only. Meanwhile, ESPN's Ramona Shelburne tweets, Magic Johnson says he will help the Lakers in free agency in any way he can, but he's not permitted by NBA rules to be part of official team meetings with prospective free agents. Johnson said he's not been asked by the Lakers or owner Jeanie Buss to participate. Johnson also said, a friend of mine called and says, Kawhi wants to meet with you. I said, no problem. I'm available if that's what the man wants. But I've got a great life. I'm not trying to mess with anybody's job. So, Dennis, Kawhi may very well fit anywhere, but do you see him as a Laker?
Not really. I mean, because right now you have Kuzma, LeBron, and as the July 6th, then the Anthony Davis trade comes official. So if those are your 3 guys and you're adding Kawhi to that, I just don't see how the ball movement fits. How's your bench flush out? We know load management works with Kawhi Leonard, so when he's not playing those game or 2, who are you plugging in? This is LeBron James' 17th year. Love you to death, LeBron. But we know this is not the LeBron James we saw the 4-year run in Miami where he was on a whole different plan the way he was playing. This is an older guy. And then Kuzma, I believe in him. But how do you get him ready to be that 3rd guy, so to speak, and develop him along the way? Because now when next summer comes, you got to pay him as well to try to keep him. So I think there's more problems to deal with bringing in a bigger name versus taking that $32 million, spread it on out with some good quality guys, some shot makers, some rebounders, because it's a long season. Foul trouble, someone tweaks an ankle, you got to have a deep enough bench. We just learned from the Warriors what they went through with their injury. So, Kawhi, last but not least, I think he stays with the Raptors. It just makes more sense to probably sign a 2-2. Just like LeBron and KD have shown us the last few years, Kawhi makes more sense. You have 1 more year with Kyle Lowry at 30-some million. Marcus Gasol's going to opt in at 25-some million. Why not keep that core together? Siakam, young fella, get your money. You deserve it. And now Masai Ujiri has some room to work on that bench and keeping those guys together. Maybe you win again, maybe you don't. But now you know you with the team had just done it versus going to the Clippers and Lakers. Now you got to start all over. I'm not sure Kawhi wants to start over.
It is, though, an intriguing conversation because I don't know that despite all the super teams we've seen formed and be successful, that we've ever seen 3 of arguably the NBA's top 5, if not maybe 7 or 8 players in the league team up together. If it were to happen, where would a Laker team led by LeBron, AD, and Kawhi finish in the league?
Once again, those 3 names, people, you get really exciting.
Right.
But if they don't have a starting point guard that's going to play defense,
I'll do it.
If they don't have a second rotation, this is what we're talking about in our meeting, and people were talking about, I said, it sounds great.
Yeah.
They would probably make the playoffs, maybe, because honestly, we don't know who the other 9 players are. And hopefully, is it J.J. Redick? Is it the Danny Greens?
You're saying LeBron, AD, and Kawhi make the playoffs, maybe?
Kristen, now check this out. So if you put those 3 guys with a bunch of G League players,
yeah,
You see what I'm saying? No.
Again, I'm available.
Even we know you'll play defense. But we're trying to get people to understand the big picture. What the Warriors just went through. When two of their big names went through, they had quality guys on the bench, but it wasn't enough. And we're asking three guys to hold down the fort all season long. Ben Simmons is still learning how to win, and B still learning how to win. They had Jimmy Butler. They made the playoffs. A few bounces away, they could have got past Raptors, but they didn't. So that's the bigger picture if you're a Laker fan. All this sounds great, but until you tell me, is Rondo coming back? Is Tyson Chandler coming back? Like, what other role play, what other, veteran players are you putting with these guys that LeBron can say, oh, yeah, I can win with him.
J.R. Smith.
Hey, I like JR. JR's proven.
He won
right?
with him.
He's won with him. He can make shots. We know he's tough. We know he's been in the wars. Those type of players with those guys. Now I'm like, okay, that makes more sense. But just those three guys by itself, just some regular NBA guys trying to make the league. You're trying to beat the Rockets and the Mavs, all these new teams, Portland that are retooling, getting better. I need to see more before I say I'm buying all the way in if Kawhi comes.
All right. Well, we will have extensive, exhaustive
it's gotten hot in here, the fever.
Of the NBA's free agency right here on NBA TV. Don't miss Free Agent Fever Sunday, 3 Eastern, as free agency officially begins at 6. After the break, we'll take a look at the offseason's most coveted free agent, the reigning Finals MVP and all-around fun guy, Kawhi Leonard. Game Time continues next.